Hello there, happy stampers. It's Shannon and I'm here with one of our cards from our A Homestyle Christmas card class to go. Card is what we're making today. It is called a Z, let's see, how do we make it? There's our ZFold Easel card. So let me show it to you. There's the front. When it's propped open, it uses this little flag sentiment that says from our home to yours as a, I'm going to call it a kickstand. And there's space inside if you want to write your message or put a sentiment stamp inside there. That's perfect for it. You might also want to consider adding a little sentiment down here in the snowbank. That would be cool too. So this card uses the actually three of the houses, the long house, the medium house, and then the small house. And put together, it kind of gives that sort of, 3D effect that the house has, many parts to it. Well, it does. It has three parts. Both of the trees are used, the larger and the smaller, and then that cute little wreath is also included. The designer series paper you see here, it's kind of the snowy, starry night. And then the fun curlicue Poppy Parade DSP is also from this same suite. And I think that while I give you the pieces of DSP that you'll need within your kit to create these cards, I highly recommend, if you can and if you'd like, purchase that package of designer series paper from the Coming Home or the Trimming the Town bundle. All right, so let's get started. Here is the finished card, like I mentioned earlier. You will need some white cardstock, some Whisper White cardstock to go ahead and stamp your images. Then you color them and you're going to die cut them out. These snowy slopes are also created with dies that come in this bundle. And you can see here that here is a die that would cut just the snowy slopes like I've done here. There's also a die that cuts a snowy slope with these really cute little pine tree silhouettes in the background. We'll use those on another project today. We're just using the plain snowy slopes, okay? Inside the card, you'll notice that I've used a stitched rectangle as my centerpiece, which can also be where you'd put your sentiment. This little flag with the sentiment, it's something that I've made special and I included in your kit. This flag happens to say from our home to yours, but I also have an option that says from my home to yours. And that's the one I'm going to use in today's card that we put together. So it's your choice, and you've already let me know when you purchase your card class to go which sentiment flag you'd like. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to show you all my little pieces and parts. So here are all my little pieces and parts. There we go. There they all are. We start with a Poppy Parade card base, pretty standard. 8.5 by 5.5. We scored like we normally do at 4 1/4, but then we also score, I'm going to call this the card front. We also score that in half. So half of 4 1/4 is 2 1/8. So we scored it again at 2 1/8 and then folded it back so that you get the Z-fold, the mark of Z-fold easel card. All right, so we're going to create this is going to be a landscape design. The fold will be up here on the top and it's going to be long or landscape. All right, so we're going to build our snowy, starry house front on this flap and then open it up, which seems like just a little bit, but open it up, and then we'll build the interior here. So I think let us get started on building the snowy, starry house front. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. We'll set both of these aside. So here are my parts for that. I recommend that you use a piece of white, just scrap paper, scrap cardstock as a kind of stabilizer for the DSP, the Starry Snowy Night DSP. Maybe you don't have to. I just felt like I wanted to do that to give it a little bit more stability, because in the end, it does become the card front, right? This is the card front. So just put a little bit of scrap on the back, scrap white, and then when you build all your pieces, it becomes a pretty sturdy piece, all right? So I'm gonna start by doing that. And that's right, super simple. And you'll notice, yep, that is a scrap piece of paper. It's truly scrap. So I'm just going to use an adhesive tape like Stampin' Seal. Put it on here and then adhere it to the scrap. Pretty simple. And there's a little bit of DSP showing here. You could trim that off if you like. I'm just going to leave it there for now. All right, so we've got our snowy, starry background. And here are other little pieces here. I've gone ahead, like I said, I've gone ahead and stamped, colored, and die cut what we need. All right, so there's the 3 parts of my house. And then there's the little wreath. So I'm going to begin by putting, and here, these are the snow banks that I created using the die from the bundle. I just used, again, white scrap cardstock. I started out I wanted my cardstock to be a little longer or a little wider than my snowy background. That gave me a little chance to play with where I wanted the snow hump, and then I could just trim off the sides. So I think what I'm going to do, you want to just kind of lay your parts out to decide how you want them, how far up do you want your scene to go? Do you want just a little sky or a little bit more sky? So that's what we're doing now. I'm just laying things out to kind of take a look and see. So there's my background snowbank. Here's my house. It's going to go there. I know I want to put the trees on either side, so it's okay if if one of them, and it'll be the bigger one, slightly hangs off the side. That's okay because we've got plenty of room. And then I'm going to want to put my little tree maybe right here. And then if I build my house, so I've got the long one down first, the medium-sized house I'm going to put toward the right edge of the longer house. And then the smallest house, I'm going to lay right, it will become the center, right along the left edge of that medium house. Do you see how that goes? The long one, the medium is flush to the right, and then the little house becomes sort of its center. So I'm just going to lay that there, again, eyeballing. And here's my next skinnier snowbank. And I want to put it right here. I want to line it up. But then I see it covers, for me, I think it covers a little bit too much of the house. So I'm going to, whoop, hey little house, come back. I'm going to move my house, grab it, and move it up just a bit. And I think that's about where I want it. And so I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm just going to make a little mark. I'm going to put this down here. Make a little mark here at the bottom of this house. So I know that right here is where I'm going to line up the bottom of my house, okay? So let's take these little parts out of the way and get to gluing. All right, so I'm just going to use, it's cardstock to DSP, so I'm just going to use a little bit of Stampin' Seal stuff, tape runner on this, and I'm going to lay it flat to the background here. And when I was cutting out the snowbanks here, I really just kind of, just eyeballed it, knowing that I kind of maybe wanted to have a hump here, and then it kind of cascading down. And it was longer, so I know I can go ahead and cut off the edges however I want. If I wanted to pull it down over to this side, you can move yours all around, okay? Here's the house. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lay it down. I'm gonna line the bottom of this house up to that line right there, keeping in mind the trees on either side. Okay, again, I'm gonna lay this guy flat. As you can see here, I used alcohol markers, our Stampin' Blend markers, and this is what the back side looks like. And it is perfectly okay that it bleeds through. That's what the front looks like in the back. It's kind of cool, I think. So I'm gonna put some adhesive on, and now I'm gonna lay my house right about there. And you really don't have to worry because the front snowbank is going to cover any mark that might have been left. All right, so now I'm going to build up my house. Okay, again, the long house. The medium-sized house, I'm going to butt it up here to the right side of the longer one. Just going to use tape runner again. All right, and then the small portion becomes sort of the foyer. I'm going to put it on the right side of the middle house, middle-sized house, medium-sized house. And that really kind of lines up right to the center here. So we're good, we're good. You could offset it if you wanted a little. Yeah, you can go like that. However you want to put your house together. It's your house, you build it. Kind of like HGTV and stamping all together. All right, there we go. All right, and while I'm dressing up my house here, I'm going to go ahead and pop up my little wreath here, and I'm just going to turn this over and put a dimensional on the back side, and I take a pick tool, easily remove that backing. Toss it away, and I want to adhere my wreath where the center window here on this house would have been, and you know, I colored over it because I knew I was going to cover it up. So there you go. A little messy on the coloring, but that's okay. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put my large tree here, and I think I'm going to pop him up as well. So I'm going to use some, again, some dimensionals. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim one of these side strips. I don't want to throw anything away there. And put that right up here. So you see, it fits into the skinnier spot. Again, take a big tool, remove the backing. Yep. And go ahead and place the tree. And like I said, it's okay if, for me at least, I don't mind if it hangs over a little bit. There's plenty of space. And then on here, I'm going to use some wet glue, some of the liquid glue, and whoops. And there you go, plenty of wet glue there. That way, I have a little wiggle room to put my small tree where I want it. All right, so I think it's small because it gives the impression of being in the distance. So there you go. All right, so I have my Starry Snowy Night house panel. I've got my front of my card built, okay? Oh, no I don't. Oh my goodness. Hold the phone, I forgot my snowbank. So this is where that's gonna go. And I'm going to pop this snowbank up with dimensionals. Goodness, I can't believe I almost forgot that. Again, I am going to grab some of these leftovers here at the bottom of my strip of dimensionals. I'm just going to snip them right off the edge there, and perfect, right? There we go. Oops. And let's just see how much do I need. Yeah, these a little bit more down here. Again, I'll just take a few of these off the edge. And line those up right around here. All right, I think that should cover us. I know I'm going to have to do a little hair cutting here. All right, so let's, oops, goodness, be that high. There we go. And now I'm going to turn it over, grab my scissors, and do a little hair cutting. I can take care of the little bit of DSP that's hanging over as well. Whilst I'm doing that, I just want to make sure that I miss the tree edges right there. Okay? Good to think about those things before you start whacking. I'm just going to make sure my scissors go right in between, and I'm making it there. And it gets a little thicker, so you want to, oops, my scissors are going. There we go. There's that edge. And the tree branches stayed. I'm going to trim off the bottom. There we go. And so there is the front of our card. Okay, let's set this aside. And now we're going to put together the inside. Here's the card base. Here is the DSP with the curly cues. We're just going to lay that right inside of our card, right? This is a 4 by 5 1/4, so you've got about 1/8 of an inch all around. Again, just a little bit of tape adhesive. All right. There we go. And then I'm going to center the stitched rectangle on white cardstock, like that. I want to be thinking about that this piece will be my kickstand. So I want to make sure that I have enough room. Just going to eyeball it again. I'm just going to put that down, and I want to make sure that only the little tails would show. That's about a 1/2 inch from the DSP, right? 1/2 inch up, 1/2 inch to the side. Yeah. All right, and then just to make sure, we'll eyeball. We'll put our card front on. Yes, that covers the insert, and only the little tiny tails of that flag show. So I think that's good. And we will, again, I could just use my little pencil here. And I know that I want to put the top of my flag there. I'm going to use dimensionals again because I want my kickstand to pop up. Let's see. I'll do that, and then snip off a bit here. There we go. Remove the backing. And we are good to go to put our kickstand. So here's my pencil mark. Okay, so now it's time to adhere our front, and right, so the front is about half, right? About half of a card front, of a normal card front. So I want to make sure that I only put adhesive up here on the top portion. Okay, so I'm going to kind of hold my finger there. That's how I gauge, and I flip it over. And I know that I want to put, here's the top of my sky. I only want to put adhesive on this bit. All right, here's our card. There you go. So there is the closed card, and boop, there is the open card. There we go, the easel card. So, so cute. Now, I know that everybody here has wonderful Christmas sentiments stamps that you have in your stash. So like I said, feel free to add another Christmas sentiment here or any kind of sentiment here. And even it'd be kind of fun if you had a small one maybe to put something there. So there you go. That's our ZFold easel card.